Self-care is a big deal, and not a lot of people really think about it. But listen, there's a place here in Columbia where you can actually go to relieve a lot of that tension, relieve a lot of that stress. And I'm actually joined today by the owner. This is Christina. We're at Shvaa Spa, which the name behind it is also something that's really relaxing as well. So I'm so glad that we're able to be here with you today. I'm so excited. I don't want to leave. I want to live here. And I'm just so excited to tell you all about some of the services that they all offer here. But first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about stress management.
So we are probably some of the most stressed people in the world. Just seems like we're constantly on the go. We are on a hamster wheel. Feels like time just flies by.
Turning.
So we actually kind of rephrased our business a little bit. We were originally self-care. We're now more of a stress management. We learned that life is like an Instapot. The pressure continues to build. If we don't release that pressure a little bit, we blow up, and it's usually on those that we love. So we're trying to get people to change their mindset a little bit and go, hey, 15, 30 minutes, release that pressure valve, do something for yourself, go back at life. And we're seeing a lot of success with it. So we're growing and we're helping people, one service at a time, not only with their stress, with self-care, but also just overall in life.
Absolutely. And when I think of self-care, and I think when most people think of self-care, they just think, oh, I'm going to the spa, I'm doing that. But self-care doesn't even look like that all the time. Self-care is just prioritizing you.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think that in general, people always think of massages. Like when I'm thinking of self-care, I'm gonna go get a massage. I'm gonna go get a facial, I'm gonna get my nails done, get my hair done, different things like that. We wanna change the perspective a little bit. We want self-care to be more about just a focus on my body, my mind, and my soul, like my spirit. So we're trying to take all of those together, put them together and say, okay, this is my moment of break. This is nobody is looking at me, nobody is talking to me, I'm just within myself. That's what we really want people to kind of see self-care as, just taking me as a priority, doing something for me because I deserve it, I need it.
This is such a great place to do it. You have several rooms here. I was like, it's like the Wonka factory. I don't know which room to go in and what room does what. But one thing that I've noticed by just walking down the halls here is like every room, besides the one we're in, and we're going to talk about it, the Salt Cave, kind of forces you to be by yourself.
Yeah, that's a priority for us. Many of us are afraid to be by ourselves. We're afraid of what we have to go through, what we're going to think about. And we actually encourage that because the true step to healing is to be able to be alone within yourself and your own thoughts. If you can't do that, you can't actually start your healing process. No matter what you're going through, it can be a loss of a loved one, it can be, even to the tune, I just sent my daughter off to college, so last year, and that's a grieving process. I think that a lot of people are excited when their kids go off to college. Some parents are not,
Yeah.
especially if it's an only child. Like they grew up together, and so it's a grieving process. So you kind of do have to be able to learn who you are again in that perspective because you've always been known as mom.
Yeah.
And when you take away mom, quote unquote, because you're not doing that daily, you got to find out who you are.
Yeah.
So we encourage that here. We bring a lot of people in who are in that same boat and say, hey, let's find out who you are.
Beautiful. And speaking of finding out who you are, a great space to do that is the Salt Cave here. So tell me a little bit about the benefits of the salt room or the Salt Cave and just kind of some of the activities that take place here.
Sure. So this is typically a 45-minute session. The salt that you see on the walls, the floor, and the ceiling is absolutely gorgeous. We love it. It does bring a sense of energy, just a very calming energy. But the actual true benefits of like halotherapy comes from what we pump into the cave. So we use a pharmaceutical grade salt. When we say pharmaceutical, it just means that it's clean and pure. It's the same kind of salt that you're probably familiar with saline.
Yeah.
Salt water. That's the same kind of salt. We pump that in, and people will use 45 minutes of an opportunity to breathe that salty air in. Think about being at the ocean times 10 concentration. So it's really good for sinus and allergy sufferers, which we hear all the time.
I can kind of feel it.
But here in Colombia, like our clients are huge sinus sufferers, having the capability of being able to bring relief naturally. That's one big thing. We've discovered a lot of other things that salt therapy has helped that we can't explain it. Long COVID.
Yeah.
People who have had that constant cough or that sound,
Yes.
they'll come in the Sulcade and do a couple of sessions, then it goes away.
And before we wrap up here, I want to talk a little bit about ways people can practice self-care at home, maybe using some things from here.
Yeah, definitely. So one big key thing that I try to push with a lot of my clients is binaural beats. If you're familiar with binaural beat music, that is neurofeedback. That is a lot of the music that we play here. It's very helpful in just naturally relieving stress. Music is kind of funny because I think when you look at the whole picture of music, a lot of people refer to country music as sad music. You know, they're always talking about losing their dog, Clyde. No, yeah. And then, you know, a lot of times when you think of people like Eminem and rap, you hear that a lot in gyms. People are using that to work out. Well, that music is kind of fueling the emotion for you of whatever you're trying to get through. And so we kind of like for that music to be a little bit just no words, so it doesn't make you think or anything. Just kind of soothe you.
One thing I think I will also take away when it comes to self-care is taking that time to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't really have self-care if you're not focusing on you.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, just from being in here, it just reminds you just how important it is to spend that time with you.
Yeah, it's amazing because a lot of my clients who first came, they came with somebody because they didn't want to try something by themselves. But then they returned by themselves.
Yeah.
They were like, I really needed this for me. Like, it was great to do this with so-and-so, but I really needed this time for myself.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
And the beautiful thing is, I know it can probably be a little bit intimidating with all the rules and services here, but Christina was telling me about a package that I'm gonna take advantage of that allows you to get like 5 services.
Yep, so we do a spa day package. It's 3 hours, includes 5 different services. And it's only $120. So our biggest key thing is self-care is meant to be affordable. That's the other thing when you go back to self-care and you think about massages and facials, these are a couple $100.
Yeah.
And not everybody can afford that. So for example, a salt case session, majority of our services are $35. So we have something that you can do, you know, that would be a cost of eating out, basically.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my clients can afford to do that once a month. That's what they do. And so affordability is a big key thing for us. It's really about making sure there's a space for anybody and everybody. You're located on Main Street, and I know that Main Street can be a little bit of a pain in the butt on parking. Bear with us. We do have some parking spots available. They are first come, first serve. But Main Street is pretty open on this side. And if you're familiar with downtown, we are directly across the street from the courthouse in a diagonal from City Hall. So 1716 Main Street. Give us a call. You can book online as well. Online shows all of our availability. We do also do groups. We are in the new year starting to look at bridal showers and, you know, birthday parties and different things like that. So private event.
Awesome. Well, Christina, thank you so much. And make sure wherever you are that you are starting to get the wheels turning about prioritizing you, because, I mean, that's what self-care is. Well, we have much more coming up after this. Stick with us.